Hi everyone, welcome to this week's reading, and I'm back with a weekly reading. I missed out last week because I was super busy, and it's also school holidays, so I've just been really busy finishing off readings from previous weeks as well, catching up on client orders. So my shop, just a quick thing, will reopen this coming week, most likely Tuesday night Sydney Australia time, or Wednesday. So you can sign up to the front of my shop on Etsy to be notified if you would like to know exactly when I open, so you can get your reading in first, because I always reply or respond to client orders in, chronological order based on when people have ordered. So if you order first, you'll get your reading back first, obviously. Okay, so this week I'm going to talk about the astrology, and I'm going to use cards after that from the Green Witch Tarot, which I haven't used for a while. That's these ones here, and I'm also going to use just one card from the, I don't know if you can see it there, the unicorn, the Oracle of the Unicorns it's called. I've used it before, but I haven't used the Green Witch Tarot for quite a while. So anyway, look, there's a lot going on this week, so I'm going to get straight into it with the astrology. First of all, the Sun moves into Taurus. It's Taurus season. Happy birthday all the Taurian people out there, including myself. So I'm a Taurus, my son's a Taurus, and it's Taurus season is about abundance. It's about enjoying your five senses, making the effort to cook, healthy, beautiful meals, looking after yourself in terms of your physical body, indulging a little bit in things that feel nice, feel good, feeling that sense of stability in your relationships is going to be really important. So where you feel secure and where you feel stable in terms of relationships, because Taurus is ruled by Venus, and Venus is all about love, beauty, and money as well. So it's in Taurus season. It's a good time to reap what you sow. Also plant seeds. There will be a new moon coming up mid-month, and so also that's going to be coming up not just yet, 15th of May. So that's going into the future, but the new moon will be in Taurus. So it's interesting. It's an interesting time now with so much changing astrologically. But I like, obviously being a Taurus sun, I like the Taurus season because it feels very stable. It feels quite peaceful. So if you're an Earth sign, you'll probably feel that. That said, from 15th of May, Uranus will be in Taurus, and that's going to shake stuff up for everybody that has any fixed energy. So the fixed signs, again, I'm jumping ahead, but this is important just to be prepared, because even though it's not happening just yet, if you're a Taurus, you probably feel this energy. It can manifest as a restlessness, as a feeling of just wanting to break out of a rut, as wanting change. If things have been stagnant in any area of your life, especially if you're a Taurus or if you've got Scorpio that's strong, especially early-born Scorpios, early-born Taurians, early-born Aquarians, and early-born Leos are going to be feeling this tension in the air, and you might have more sort of energy sort of coursing through your veins, and this restless kind of anxious energy, and you just don't know what to do with it. So it's really important to be smart, and when you feel that energy, channel it through exercise, channel it through creativity, because Uranus has a downside. It can be, it has a dark side like every planetary influence, and you don't want to sort of neglect yourself and then allow Uranus to wreak havoc in your life, which can be quite a sort of perverse energy. It can be quite a sort of contradictory energy, a disruptor. Uranus is a change agent. So as it's coming towards being in Taurus, anyone that has those fixed signs that I mentioned is going to be feeling, especially if you're at the beginning of those signs or if you have early degrees. So that, even though it doesn't start till 15th, you're going to be feeling it now, especially if you're a sensitive person. So the other stuff that's going on, Mercury's direct now, which has been for a week or so. Mercury on Wednesday to Friday, through Wednesday to Friday, Mercury is going to make a tense square aspect with Saturn in Capricorn. Mercury is in Aries, by the way. So with Mercury in Aries, especially if you are an Aries person, early born Aries, are going to feel like maybe this feeling of like wanting to kind of push through old traditions, old structures, break through with something new. It's not just going to affect Aries, it's going to affect probably anyone that has cardinal placements, in particular early cardinals up to 9 degrees if you know your chart. Mercury square Saturn's going to present like this. You might feel, there's a variety of ways, but you might feel like you're coming up against authority in some way. So authorities being parents, bosses, anyone that seems to have a position of authority in your life. You may feel like you're coming up against these people a little bit, or you're having to adjust to demands, or you're having to adjust to, you know, deal with your need for independence, your need to follow what you feel mentally is right for you, versus, you know, coming up against this sort of old-fashioned, restrictive, rigid Saturn in Capricorn. And, you know, Saturn in Capricorn is very, very powerful. So little Mercury squaring off against Saturn doesn't have all that much, you know, say in comparison to Saturn, because Saturn's much more powerful and heavy. So what I would suggest between Wednesday and Friday is, if there are authorities in your life clamping down on you, try to adjust to it and work your way around it, rather than being a bull in a china shop type style of reacting, okay? Because Mercury in Aries can be very stubborn and can be very bold and just blunt and not caring about the feelings of others around, or not caring about consequences. So because Mercury in Aries, it's a little bit of an immature sort of energy, and it's against, you know, Father Saturn in its home sign of Capricorn. A bit difficult there. So some stress around from Wednesday to Friday on the mental communication level anyway. Other stuff going on seems to be on Wednesday as well. Well, this one's a bit more positive. Mars sextile Jupiter on Wednesday around 19 to 20 degrees. So with Mars sextile Jupiter, there can be opportunities to grow in your life. You can feel this sense of opportunity in the air, and it's exciting, and it could relate to your ambition, because Mars in Capricorn is about ambition and growth and evolution, and it's in a very practical sort of area in a sense, because Mars in Capricorn is so practical. And Mars in Capricorn is also exalted in that position, so it works very well in that energy. Jupiter in Scorpio is very intense, but those energies together can work very well. So if you have anything around 19-20 degrees of earth or water, that's actually going to be a very positive day for you this week around Wednesday. Also on Wednesday, Venus, the planet that represents love and money, moves into restless Gemini. So Gemini and Venus together can be very flirtatious. It can mean more social connections, social invitations. Venus in Gemini sort of tends to think lightly towards relationships, more so than taking things very seriously at this time. Kind of having more of a freedom mentality about relationships, and more wanting to socialize or date rather than get committed. So if you're in that zone of, if you're not in a committed relationship and you're dating, you're kind of like testing the waters to see what's out there at this time. While Venus will be in Gemini for, I haven't checked, but usually around several weeks or so. Another couple of things that are really interesting that are happening. Pluto retrograde on the 23rd. Okay, so this week, Pluto retrograde is 21 degrees of Capricorn till October 1st, I believe I've written down. I can't read my own writing. I checked the ephemeris. Either the 1st or 7th. I think it says the 1st of October. Yes, so Pluto retrograde, if you are ruled by Pluto, so if you, like myself, has Scorpio rising, or you are Pluto dominant, like you have Pluto in the first house, and you know your chart, or if you're a Plutonian type, this is a very powerful energy for you of really integrating, a time to integrate. So from now through to October, it's a time to go within and do a lot of soul searching, regeneration of your inner self. It can be a bit of a slowdown time for you, but it's a very important slowdown time. It's like, you know, especially if you are Plutonian type of person, you understand the power of regeneration, and that's what Pluto retrograde does. It allows you to go within and really look at, you know, issues to do with healing, psychic development, deep sort of aspects of your psyche that are not integrated, subconscious stirrings, and many other things. It's very psychological energy, but it can also allow you to kind of transform aspects of your life. So wherever Pluto is in your natal chart, it can be transformative. Some people may feel at the moment with Saturn retrograde as well, till September 6th, Pluto retrograde, that this is a bit of a slowdown time, you know. When those planets are retrograde, it tends to feel like things are slowing down. But it's a very important time of self-reflection. Now, if you have Saturn retrograde in your natal chart, or Pluto retrograde, it may not feel as slow for you, because you've already got those things going on natally and naturally for you. but for people that have those placements direct in their natal chart, it can feel like a slowdown time. With Saturn retrograde, you know, it is advised not to start anything huge if you can help it, unless you've got Saturn retrograde natally, just because that making changes, unless you absolutely need to, can be filled with a lot of obstacles, and it can be a bit of a pain. But you know, Saturn is a very karmic planet as well, so if you are starting something new, I'm sure it's very karmic for you in some ways, and it's not always a bad thing. Sometimes we, you know, obviously we grow when we face obstacles, and we're out of our comfort zone, and we deal with situations that are challenging in some ways. So yeah, what else have I forgot to say? Oh yeah, the big two more big things actually. This Sunday, coming Sunday, the end of the week, on the 29th, Uranus will be on the 29th anaretic critical degree of Aries. So this is before Uranus then moves into Taurus, which will be around the 15th of May. So it's going to hover around that degree for quite a while, and that's a very tense time for the world. When Uranus is at the very last degree of Aries, there can be some tensions in the air globally to do with situations relating to political issues, war and stuff like that. So it can feel very tense in regards to Aries related things, which Aries definitely is. It's the god, you know, Mars is the god of war, which rules Aries. So anything to do with war can sort of come up as a big issue from now till the 15th of May. And if you are a late born Aries, like someone, and when I say late born, I mean literally like at the very end of Aries or on the cusp of Aries or Taurus, this can be sort of a critical time for you right now from the 29th of April through to 15th of May, where there could be massive changes going on in your life, and they can be sudden because Uranus is about sudden shocks and changes and big life changes. What else? Also, major news, Chiron is moving from Pisces into Aries. Wow, this is massive. This will, Chiron will be in Aries until late September, when it retrogrades back onto the 29 degree of Pisces. Then it will go back into Aries again for a very long stay for quite a number of years. This is massive because Chiron in Aries is really about healing the divine masculine. I feel that it's very important about healing, you know, the Aries ego energy. So for those people that struggle with expressing, especially males that struggle with expressing the softer side of their nature, that have trouble with that and tend to sort of be more in the alpha male energy, in that Aries energy, to the point where it comes at a detriment to themselves and others, this is going to be a very confrontational time for those people. Those men that don't know how to, or anyone that embodies that very Aries energy, even if you're female, in its darker expression, Chiron in Aries is going to be very, very confrontational. Even if you, you know, are more balanced, and you have strong Aries in your chart, you still, if you have Chiron conjunct Aries at some point, say you're an Aries sun, late degree Aries are not going to experience this for a while, but let's say early degree or early born Aries people, Chiron in Aries is really confrontational for you in terms of your deepest wounds. And I'm going to do a separate video on this at some point soon, hopefully, on my other channel, my main channel, where I talk about astrology and spirituality. I might do a voice recording about this because it's very important. So, to me, the way I see it, I feel it's about healing the divine masculine energy, the alpha male energy, and the sort of really strong ego child, in a way, you know, is what I can think of to call it. It's like that very immature ego, which is Aries, that needs healing but won't admit that it needs healing. You know, I'm sure women out there have known men like this, that, you know, I've heard it over and over again while Chiron was in Pisces, women who try to help men heal, but they just can't, because those men need to take responsibility for themselves, and that's the type of energy we're dealing with. So it's very confrontational. And as I said, if you're a woman with this transit, if you're an Aries female, or if you have Aries moon or Aries rising, or even Venus in Aries, you may be dealing with some confrontational karmic issues to do with male energy as well, that you need to work through and deal with issues about assertion, boundaries, will, and that type of thing. All right, let's get to the cards, because that was a lot to do with the astrology for this week. All right, I just need to drink some tea. This is much longer than I expected. So sorry for those who expected it to be the usual 15 minutes. It's a bit longer, obviously, because there's so much to talk about with the astrology this week, and I couldn't miss out any of those points. So let's see what we have this week. Okay, something over here. 1, 2. Oops. This one. I'll just move the camera. Oh, the Four of Chalices, Four of Cups, King of Pentacles. Oh, the High Priestess. Okay. So I think I'm not going to have time to do the Oracle card because I don't want to make the video too long. So I'm just going to focus on these. Sorry about that. But the Four of Cups is a feeling of sadness for some people around a relationship situation. It could be anyone from a family member to a romantic connection. Okay. I'm really drawn to the dragonfly here buzzing around her head. Dragonflies represent the connection between the earthly realm and the spirit realm. So there could be someone who's trying to get through. This could be a message for one or several people. This person here holding the cup coming in is like spirit trying to communicate, and that's represented through the dragonfly hovering around her head. But she's unaware. She's too much stuck in her grief. This could be symbolic of being focused on the negative, being focused on loss rather than what you have got going for you. She's not even aware that she has the cups standing there, which are there full, you know. She's really focused and sad about the missing cup. It's talking about being very aware of what you've got going for you rather than what you don't have going for you, and using that positive attitude as a power in your life. The King of Pentacles, it's positive energy to do with masculine energy, but also to do with a new offer for some people. It could be an opportunity to advance yourself financially, or to do with your work or career. It's interesting, the bull's in the background. The sun's just gone into Taurus, and you know, the pentacles relate to the earth sign, so that's interesting as well. But there is a bull in the background there. So this is about abundance in some manner. Maybe you're drawing in more money soon, or there's money coming to you and you're just not aware of it just yet. But this week it's saying that there is an opportunity in some way, career related or finance related. The High Priestess is about intuition. It's about psychic ability, and it's about going within and really getting to know yourself in a very true and deep way, which could very much relate to Pluto retrograde. So it's about not so much focusing on other people, but really focusing on you and your inner workings, what you want. And it's about wisdom and spiritual wisdom at that. So, you know, rather than getting too distracted about other people this week, it's more about focusing on yourself, your life path, where you're going with your financial situation and also your emotional and spiritual situation. So that was the reading this week. I hope you enjoyed that and got something out of that. And if you'd like a private reading with me, you can follow the links to my online store. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye.